welcome back. This week we're going to be reviewing Wakanda Forever and Ever and Ever and Ever and Ever 2022 and Ever. It was a very long film, 3 hours long and ever. So I took my son and his buddies for his birthday last night to see it, and they liked it. I mean, I didn't hear them wrestling around too long. They're 14, 15-year-olds, so they seem to have liked it. So the film has, now please forgive me if I say your name wrong, starring Letitia Wright, Lupita Nyong'o, Angela Bassett. This one I'm going to definitely get wrong. Tenoch Huerta. So I know that one of the kids in the group that I took yesterday, he felt represented by that character. He saw himself in the film, represented his ethnicity. So he actually said that on the ride home. So yeah, who directed it, Gary?
Ryan Coogler. I hope I pronounced that right. Ryan Coogler.
Okay.
African American from Oakland. So
nice.
He is, and from his we'll continue, and I'll go into my little rant.
Well, while it was very long, I wasn't bored for one moment. I definitely wasn't bored. It was long though. I mean, I don't know. I felt like it wasn't as good as the first one for me. I didn't like it as much as the first one. So I definitely missed having a Black Panther. Throughout the entire film, I was wondering, okay, where is the Black Panther? The name is Black Panther. Where is the Black Panther? And then she shows up at the end as the Black Panther, and I didn't feel like it was enough. Quite honestly, I didn't really believe her as a Black Panther. I just thought it just didn't work for me, that part of it. So I just felt like a little let down because of that aspect. I mean, I loved the first film because of basically the superhero part. I just felt like that was missing.
No,
and I felt like I was
the actor who passed away. Is unbelievable, charismatic actor.
Right.
Who is at the beginning and the end, you could just see his charisma just just beaming off of the screen, right? And it's just absolutely heartbreaking.
And then I just felt like the entire film felt like there was something missing. So they felt like they maybe should have recast it or gone a different direction with the storyline. I felt like I was watching what's that film that's coming out, The Blue People?
Avatar.
I felt like I was watching like some weird version of Avatar. Some water people. Chris kept correcting me on that. I mean, with that said, though, I did enjoy the film, especially if you don't compare it to the first one. It is an enjoyable film. For me, I loved Angela Bassett. I cried. I didn't see that coming. That was very sad. And she's such a powerhouse. Oh my gosh, that woman.
That's amazing.
She's like a vampire or something. Gosh, she is a beautiful, beautiful woman. So, and just so powerful, and you just like watch her, and she's mesmerizing. So I loved that part. I just felt like Letitia was just very small to be a superhero. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like she's up for this film. She's going to play that part.
Well, the thing is that I don't know what's going to happen with all that, but it kind of follows from what I'm not a Black Panther comic book reader, but from my understanding of the storyline, she does become the sister who's a brilliant scientist becomes the Black Panther or Black Panther, okay. Team Black Panther or something like that. So she is definitely, it follows the comic book story pretty much.
Interesting.
From what I know, like I said, I haven't read a lot of Black Panther comic books, but that's what, from my understanding. But Ryan Coogler, the director, here's a guy who's been sidetracked by success. He's pretty much, it seems to me, a genius. He grew up in Oakland, but he went to a private college, and then as a football player, and then somehow they got closed. The football got closed down, so he went to Sacramento State and became a star football player there. But I guess his in one of his classes, he was writing short stories, a creative writing class, and the professor was very impressed by his visual abilities. So he said, "You should study screenwriting." So from that, he started writing screenplays, and then he entered into the USC master's program. Very difficult to get in, the filmmaking program, 3-year master's program, extremely difficult to get in. He went through that with flying colors, got all kind of awards for his films, made Fruitvale Station, which was an amazing movie. I don't know if you're familiar with that one, where the African guy got killed by the BART policeman. I remember I was living in San Jose at that time, and I remember when all that happened. It was horrifying. And one of the first big things about, police killing African Americans, it became a big nationwide, furor. And then he made a movie about that, which I thought was excellent with Michael, his name Michael Jordan, I think, the actor. Jordan. Yeah. That's how he got his start, his career too. And then he's been directing the Creed movies also with Michael P. Jordan.
Oh, yeah, we love those.
And then he also now is in charge of the Black Panther movies. So eventually this guy is going to have his own studio, is what I think. I mean,
the character development was excellent.
Yeah, I think he worked on the script. Again, I just kind of followed the story. I mean, the Black Panther story, as the comic books kind of has laid it out. But it's a great film for, I think that's why they did he called them the blue people, the ethnicities, right? With the Latino ethnicities, to bring them in. And I can see this character, in these comic book movies, they seem to switch, the character be an evil guy, and then all of a sudden he joins the good guys. The Hulk is bad, now the Hulk is good. This guy is bad, now he's good. They keep, because there's a badder guy out there, they have to fight. And so I see this guy maybe in the Black Panther universe taking on more of a good guy role later on. Yeah. I'm talking about the king or whatever he is, the Mayan king, right? So a nasty character, he's a little like Black Adam. He's he kills his the people he doesn't like. So he's in that mode, the anti-hero mode. But I could see him coming around as another character in these things. But I saw it in IMAX and in 3D. So it was I was quite captivated by the movie itself. But I can see where some people might be a little bit, let down by it. I can't, judge what audiences feel. I just enjoyed the story and how we presented it. And like you said, it really missed the lead actor for the original Black Panther, but there's nothing we can do about that, right? And you can't bring back the Michael Jordan character because he's dead. So you've got her, and she's fine. I particularly the part I got lost on, because I haven't gone back and rewatched the original, was the Lupita Nyong'o character, who I quite like her. She's quite beautiful, and was she married to him in the original Black Panther?
No, I think that that was the person that lived in, what was that other?
Well, she had to be married to him or with him because she has his kid.
Oh, right. Yeah. That part. I thought that was a different
spoiler alert. Big time spoiler alert.
But I thought Nikita was a different actress. I thought that was the general. That's who that is. The general was Lupita, I think. Lupita.
Oh, she was, yeah, whatever. But I mean, but she has his kid.
Yeah, they were together.
Right. Okay. Well, I just can't remember. I have to go back and rewatch that again, I guess. But it was I thought the soundtrack was amazing. I mean, And what was amazing to me was that we all sat through the credits. Now, I think that most people sat through the credits because they think there's going to be a secret ending, which there wasn't.
Right.
And you know, one of the few times it hasn't been a secret ending. And but I thought the music was amazing. I was just
It was.
blown away by the soundtrack. And when, you know, in that nice theater I was in, it was just incredible. And then, you know,
Visually with the music.
yeah, well, just watching the credits, music was amazing. As I sat and listened to the end credits with the music. I think the reason these movies are so popular is because you know, James Bond, I keep thinking about James Bond used to be the one with all the great gadgets and stuff, but you know, because it's kind of seated in a kind of a realist world, you know, we got every James Bond gadget from the old times right on our phone now, right? You know, so there's kind of lost this gadgetry, but I mean, in these movies, they got a lot of gadgets, a lot of amazing gadgets with vibranium and all that stuff. Oh, and it turns out that the king of, or whoever the Black Panther is at whatever moment in time, is the richest man on earth. It's like worth about $90.9 trillion, they say. This is the comic book.
Yeah.
So the and there was which brings up this whole tension they had in this movie between the matriarch and the patriarch, right? Because you know, because originally it's a kind of a patriarchal society, but the matriarch is taken over, and you know, the Black Panther's a woman, and then at the very end you get this tension with the prince, right? The new one coming up. There's a bit of tension there with all that, right?
Yeah.
So you know, between the male and the female hierarchies in this fictitious Wakanda, right? And another thing I liked about it versus Black Adam, pick on Black Adam again, is that, you know, it became a worldwide, you know, threat, right? It's a threat to the whole world, and you know, whereas in Black Adam, you're like, you know, why is this class? You know, we're so claustrophobic. This one, it was open and out in the world, and you know, you're going through layers of history, you know, up and down. It's like a Rubik's Cube almost, you know, you're going through the history, and then you're going back in time, and you're going forward, and you're seeing all the different, you know, I kept saying, man, I want to see this guy's backstory, you know, this Mayan, right? And they did, right?
Yeah.
So it was, you know, you know, it wasn't a perfect film, but it was like I said, it was long. But you know, I didn't really notice it till I got out of the theater. After I came out and I looked at the time, I go, holy crap, that was a long movie. Because I was in there for over, you know, 3 hours at least. You know, even, but we, you know, had previews and all that stuff. But still, it was well into the, you know, 2 hours and 40 minutes or 45 minutes or something like that, getting close to 3 hours. And I'm sure they probably have a 6-hour cut somewhere that they'll put on Disney Channel or something, right? You know, like 3 or 4 parts. But yeah, Ryan Coogler is pretty. When I read about his story, I was like, wow, he is the Black Panther. You know, because he's from Oakland, and he's you know, he's brilliant, and he's, you know, become such a huge success, and you know, his abilities are just wow, impressive. So they said Black Panther will return. Will it return with our teen scientists? We don't know what's going to happen, right? You know, we're going to wait till the prince grows up and then get into some. And then, you know, then they had the mountain guy who's come in, the mountain. We love the mountain gorilla guy, don't we, folks? That guy, you know, that tribe. Yeah, he comes in. He says he's gonna fight for the, you know, do all that, right? Whatever they did in the first one. Yeah, but again, you know, the same director did the first one. It just didn't. I think he was probably struggling with, because it's basically an origin story for this. Black Panther, is what it is, right? And origin stories can be either good or bad, depending on like if you've seen Morbius, that was like probably the worst origin story ever.
Yeah.
That piece of junk. Yeah, that's a really horrible movie. And I don't know why. I mean, you know, it could have been good, I guess. It just didn't work. But you know, in general, I mean, I love the origin story movies usually. So yeah, I think I'm probably in like the 80% area for myself.
Yeah, I could see that. Um, he's Mexican, right? Tinoch Huerta?
You mean
Me
the Mayan
yeah,
guy?
a Mexican actor, is that right?
Was it? I don't know. Didn't they say he was introducing him? Was it introduced?
Oh,
Uh,
I don't know. All I know is that he was super buff. Like
yeah, he
he
was
worked
good.
out.
He
Yeah.
he reminded me so it was some kids I had in my class. I wonder if I had that kid in my class. Because just his attitude, right? It's like,
But like to be underwater and to be shot like that, I mean, he had to like literally have like no he had probably had to be all muscle. I
yeah.
mean, he looked incredible.
Well, yeah, he's kind of like, I guess that's characters in the, I don't know if this character was developed for the movie or is in the comic books. He's probably in the comic books too, but maybe it's DC's answer to Marvel's answer to Aquaman is what I mean, because Aquaman is
Yeah.
DC, right? You can see Jason Momoa, playing that part.
Momoa.
Momoa, thank you. All these ethnic names get me. Jason Momoa, Hawaiian. Yeah, he's buff, right?
Yeah, he is. But I was just thinking about having to film, how technically difficult that must have been. And then, of course, for the actors to be underwater a lot and it's a lot. That was crazy. So
I
it
don't
must
know
be in the
anything about
comic
this.
books.
Excuse me?
Must be in the comic books, that whole world.
It must be, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure they must have drawn a lot of this. It's Marvel, so Marvel. It's Marvel comic books. Marvel, the this is what they do, right? The storylines and stuff. So I assume they look at the storylines of the original comic books and then they go from there when they write the scripts. That's my assumption. Like I said, I used to read a lot of Marvel. I think I even had Fantastic Four #1 at one time in my life. God, I'm so sad that I lost that one somewhere down the line. I was like 10 or 11 or 12 years old. I had Fantastic Four #1. And I used to, I had a ton of Marvels and I think they kind of took over DC. I read a lot of DC, which means Detective Comics, because that's what DC means, because it's based on Batman, who was the original detective.
Oh.
So, but anyway, so this guy probably, I don't know, Marvel's answer to Aquaman, because I'm sure Aquaman has been around a lot longer in DC. But yeah, it was an interesting new character.
Did you like the little things on his feet?
And the little wings were well, always amuses me to see how DC takes these old Greek myths or it doesn't have to be Greek, Aztec, Mayan, let's say world mythology, and then they transform it into comic book stories, right? Which is always find funny as hell. They do all that. But that's part of storytelling, right? It's just staying in line with telling stories, legends and myths. So, and they're creating their own legends and myths. So Black Panther is a fantastic, it opens its, like you said, it opens its, how did your friend say, he can relate to the characters in the movie? Someone he can relate to.
I mean, obviously, just visually, or just the fact that there was somebody that was Mexican that's representing his ethnicity.
Oh, so he was, okay.
Yeah, because I think about that a lot, actually. I always think there's a lot of famous Black actors, a lot of obviously white actors, and but I don't feel like there's a lot of Hispanic actors that get represented. And I feel like
and they always play drug cartel lords and well, in this case too, he wasn't the greatest, the best guy either. So
and so it's
kind
like
of a negative. Yeah,
it's messed up. Our population is we have so many people that are Hispanic and like they're barely represented on screen. It's so mind-boggling to me. So anyway, hopefully that'll improve, but I think about it all the time though, like when I watch something.
But at least he was a sympathetic character. I mean, you can, it's like
super strong. Yeah.
I was thinking super sympathetic, and with his backstory, and why hates the colonist, how
Yeah.
does she say it? The colonials, the colonists, she picks on the
Yeah.
I can't remember the actor's name,
Yeah, the handcuffs, or that's what
Hobbit, the Sherlock Holmes guy, Dr. Watson
Yeah.
actor. I like him a lot. I don't know his name though. I'm not real good with actors' names. That's terrible, huh? I know the directors. I know directors very well, but I just don't know the actors. To me, the actors are the puppets, right? Like I could even. Well, now we're going to another movie we'll talk about later. But yeah, the most interesting thing to me was the tension between the matriarch and the patriarch, which I thought was very interesting, because the last film, it was pretty much all patriarch, right? The king, son, all these different, and then now in this one, it's the women were very, well represented. That's it.
Yeah.
So, but there's got to be some tension there in the next story, right? Black Panther 3.
Well, there will be. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean, obviously.
maybe 2 Black Panthers, male and female, and then maybe
Yeah.
they agree to work together after they fight each other throughout the entire movie. That could be the story right there, right? But we don't know. We're just guessing. Yeah, like I said, it really missed the original Black Panther. He was such a charismatic actor. It's just and they gave proper homage to him, I think.
Definitely.
So anyway, that's as much as I did bring my water today, so I guess my turn to do this, right?
Yeah.
So today I'm going to give it about 80%, and I'm not sure why. I think just the storyline itself was not the most perfect, and it lacked the original, the original actor who was just really owned that role, right?
Right.
And it didn't go back, because I enjoyed it going back to Oakland and all that stuff in the original, and going back to
too.
and everything.
I love that.
This one, oh yeah, then you got the new African American scientist character, also the American, right, from MIT. They introduced her. I'm not sure what they're going to do with her.
She's kind of forgettable. I hate to say it, but
I just thought she was okay. She just didn't really have she didn't have a lot to do, just pretend she's smart and everything, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, all in all, I thought I give it 80%, and well, well worth watching. And if you can get to an IMAX or a 3D version of it, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah. So
and the soundtrack is just I just love the soundtrack. Just wonderful, right? Soundtrack, the music and everything. What's that? Wonderful. Okay, so I don't think we can rant much more about it.
No.
That's oh yeah. Again, I was going to do it at the beginning. Forgot, like and subscribe, please. We have very few viewers, and we're trying. I'm coming up with ideas, trying to get more viewers, but I haven't really put them into motion yet. So, thank you so much, Internet. Good night.